Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Our patient today is, oddly enough, Adobe Creative Cloud. Not really a patient, we're not going to fix it. In February of this year, I released a video titled AI is a Scam, in which I expressed my opinion about AI, and I made a prediction that eventually companies will brag about not using AI, just as they brag about using it right now. I did not think this phenomenon would appear this quickly, and I did not expect that it would first hit graphics editing software. Honestly, I expected it to be the companies offering customer service, auditing, advertising. But here we are, 6 months, just 6 short months into the future, and the graphics designers are flocking en masse to Affinity software, which does not use AI, doesn't offer AI, is not built with AI tools. And yes, they do brag about that. On top of that, there is only one-time payment that authorizes you to use their software indefinitely, at least the version that you purchased. It's fair enough. This used to be the standard. Do you guys remember that? This used to be how things worked. You make a payment and you receive the software. And perhaps you want the higher version of that software and you need to pay again. Again, if the license is for this particular version, it's good enough. It's fair enough to me. I started using Adobe Photoshop 3.0 when I was a kid. That was a long time ago. You can see how old this software is. My favorite version of Photoshop is Photoshop 7.0. Why that one? I know it well. I worked with it a long time. I purchased it many years ago and I still have it. It still works. It does everything that I need. Not a dime went from my pocket to Adobe's pocket throughout those years I've been using Photoshop. At some point, however, Adobe figured that each customer can be charged for every month of having access to their software, regardless whether they use it or not. I'm sure it was a major step in their journey to constantly monetize their product long after it was created and sold. And of course, I understand they update stuff, they take care of the software, they make it better over time, but how much of that do you actually need, and is it actually worth paying monthly fee for using the software? That alone perhaps would not be the worst thing. There are plenty of such software, plenty of such tools, and all of them come with a cloud that kind of gives you peace of mind. You don't have to back up your work. You have access to your work from anywhere. Your computer becomes redundant. You can replace the computer and just continue where you left off. It's a good thing. However, the line must be drawn somewhere, as some of us work on projects restricted by NDAs. I'm sure some of us work on sensitive information, perhaps drawing maps and plans that are military secrets, and the instance of leak can cost people their lives. It must be stated that Adobe is trying to train their neural networks on your work, which they get for free on top of charging you for using their tool to create it. So they literally having their pie and eating it every day. And all that in effort to take your job as a creator. Billions of revenue from renting out their software is no longer enough for them. Now they want to go after Joe Schmo who designs birthday cards. They want to use his work to create a plugin which does the same thing, effectively taking his job. Uber tried to do that, the very same thing, with the self-driving team that was being assembled. I actually interviewed for that team. At the end I didn't continue with the process. I took another offer. But they tried to do the very same thing to take over the salary that the drivers do, that the drivers make, right? They wanted to take the driver's job as well, on top of making money of renting services. Luckily, that is beyond our capabilities at the moment, and probably will remain such for a long time before we can come up with the software that can safely move 2-ton vehicles on the roads. But creative people are at risk of losing their source of income for at least a few years. At least for years, because it will not be sustainable. The few years of AI generating stuff, and it's going to become very repetitive, and we will need more creative people eventually. Unfortunately, Adobe is not alone on that side of the barricade. Every year, new devices are built in a way that allows the manufacturer to extract more money from you, which in practice means that you no longer own the device you purchased. Not only you are not allowed to repair it yourself, but at any point you can lose the ability to use it. The company can basically break that device, and it doesn't matter how much money you paid for it. It has never been yours to begin with. Today, I made my statement by purchasing Affinity Photo 2. I made one-time payment of $35, just as it used to be back in the normal days. And so far I like it. I like it a lot. It's very much like Photoshop. And I'm not a power user, so I don't need all that nonsense that Adobe charges for nowadays. Not a dime from my pocket went into Adobe's wallet, and I plan to keep it that way. I also recommend that you do the same, and if enough of us refuse to be treated like that by Adobe overlords, we might once again live in good old days when you own what you purchased, be it the software or hardware. Well, to finish on a positive note, stay creative, stand your ground, and remember that you have a lot more power than you think you do. And now, if you excuse me, I have to use the bathroom.